Alright, should have him coming in just a minute, guys, and then we'll get going. Hey, John, how's it going?
Hey, not too bad. How are yourself, Dave?
Doing alright, not too bad. Been casting plenty and had a lot of interesting people so far. Very, very fun, very active, and I'll actually have to catch up on the chat for what the commentary was for the last guy, but very fun so far, a lot of different people, so hopefully we'll have a fun and active game like the last one. And you said you want to kind of do like macro-micro type analysis and things along those lines?
Yeah, I don't have really like a set style. I'm just...
Sounds good, man. No problem. So moving on into the draft, we'll get things started off, and I'll cover the play-by-play team fight type stuff, but one way or another, we got Victoria's Angels, very interesting team tag to start off for the Dire
like
here.
That name.
Watch How I Spill One being the drafter for the Dire, and Microstar covering up on the Radiant. So he'll be drafting that up, and has already banned out the Templar Assassin along with the Nature's Prophet, and then the Darkseer of the Rubik. But actually, a lot of first picks really coming out very, very rapidly. The Invoker, the Batrider, and Leshrac, they knew exactly what they wanted and how they wanted to build based off of that. So Invoker versus Batrider is an interesting matchup. Invoker with the base damage nerf and Batrider being so powerful. I would say if Invoker picks up the Magic Stick, he'll be perfectly fine in that 1v1 mid situation, but otherwise he's going to have a really tough time sustaining against the sticky Napalm stacks and just how much damage Batrider can put out, especially once he's survivable enough to dive up against the Invoker. But Cold Snap always helps against that too. But I really like the Batrider as an initiator, playing him Gankic style and get the Blink Dagger up with the Lasso, and that just does so much. But kind of counteraction, the Enigma Batrider is kind of a close up-in-your-face action Enigma with the Black Hole and Malefist and everything along those lines. I guess the the W from Batrider, which is called Flame Break, can negate his channel, but otherwise it's going to be hard for Batrider to stay on top of things if Enigma's in the action.
Another interesting thing to mention is that with the recent Batrider buff in 6.75, in Asian Dota and Chinese Dota, he's actually become a top ban just because of how powerful he is. Like, it's not uncommon to see him as the first ban.
I definitely agree with that. I've seen him play very effectively. Batrider and Jakiro both are just so much better in this new patch, and just kind of shows how Valve is reworking heroes that saw almost no play whatsoever. I mean, in the Asian scene, Batrider was still really good for his positional control, but not nearly as strong as he is now with these recent buffs. So he's going to be able to survive a lot more and just stay in the action as best he can. But a very, very powerful teamfight composition drafted up by Microstar, Tidehunter and Enigma together. Oh, it's just so devastating with those ultimates. If they can lock their opposition down, it's going to be very, very difficult for their Dire to do anything at all with that much AoE. So I'm thinking the carry that they're going to be looking for in their probably 4th or 5th pick is going to have to be very durable, be able to survive a lot, and even if maybe BKB through the Ravage, and then get somebody to long-range negate the Enigma, maybe like I guess a Beastmaster, or I mean the classic Vengeful Spirit swap. Good counter to that, but we'll have to see what they want to go with to try to, obviously go right up against the Enigma. And whenever you're drafting against the Enigma, you really have to focus on early aggression, because Enigma's not really good in the first 1, 2, 3 levels. Also, just disables that you can use to stop off the Black Hole. They're going to go with Bounty Hunter. What do you think about that?
Yep, and now we see a Bounty Hunter, so they're definitely, I wouldn't be surprised if they went for a jungle gank early. It's going to be, well, depending on their warding situation, how everything plays out in the beginning, there's too many variables involved, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went for a 5-man early.
Yeah, so I mean, Bounty Hunter obviously is kind of a snowball type hero. He can benefit a lot for track gold and things along those lines if he gets the ultimate up pretty quickly, especially the latter ranks just gives so much gold to everybody around him. But I mean, even rank 1 track still adds on to the money and makes those really item dependent heroes. I mean, Leshrac, although he's mostly seen supportive in this scene, just kind of doesn't get very much farm at all. He can do a lot if he gets some good tanky items, because that Pulse Nova is nothing to be sneezed at as far as damage goes. Does a lot of AoE magic damage the longer he persists in the fight. So if Bounty Hunter track gold can help out Batrider and Leshrac get that much more farmed, the longer the fights are, the more in favor they're going to be for the Dire. But unfortunately for them, the Radiant composition, like I already said, is for quick and easy fights, lasting about maybe 7 seconds, combining the Black Hole and the Tidehunter Ravage. It's just, they want to hit quick and easy, and if they can get enough burst damage to go along with it, maybe a Sand King for fun. But one way or another, you definitely have to watch that. And I think I completely agree with the Venomancer Jakiro bans, as they synergize way too much with that AoE threat.
Yeah, 2 interesting things to mention is that, like, recently 6.75, Leshrac used to have, like, 2 different roles. He can either go mid or go as a support. For his Diabolic Edict, now it has a cast animation time before he casts it, and before it was just, like, no delay whatsoever. So almost every time you see Leshrac now, he's going to be used as a support. And Bounty Hunter, like, if you watch a lot of professional games, the track gold is so significant that it usually results in like huge increase or difference in terms of like team gold overall, just because of how powerful it is. And I don't really see a lot of commentators talking about it, but it is incredibly significant.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It doesn't give all that gold to one person. You're not just buying like a 10-minute radiance because you have a bounty on your team, but it's across the board. All the heroes benefit from the gold, and therefore, if you pick some, I mean, like obviously, you generally don't see like a Dazzle or Crystal Maiden alongside the bounty hunter because they could care less about items. Obviously, I guess you could debate that a little bit with Freezing Field getting a really nice buff, so BKB can help her out a lot. But in general, completely item-independent heroes don't really care about bounty hunter because he gives everybody on the team a lot. So Leshrac, although he does have his limitations, he can still do a lot of damage with his edict if he gets the stun off first, and along with that he does a lot of damage if he can survive. So he's going to be looking for tank items, and Bounty Hunter is definitely a good utility to give that to him. As far as lanes go, I guess it might be Leshrac and Bounty Hunter together. I'd love to see an Enchantress or a Chen go along with them to go maybe an aggressive tri-lane up against whatever carry is going to be drafted up by the Radiant along with that Enigma, because Enigma is just so vulnerable in those before he gets that rank 2 Malefice. The Malefice is completely worthless, and the Eidolons can only do so much themselves. So we'll have to see, but right now a lot of bans coming out early on, the Queen of Pain, Anti-Mage, and the Crystal Maiden. So those are interesting picks for what they wanted to ban out. I don't know if they would have really changed much of what they had going on. I know the Mana Void and Frostbite obviously would have stopped the Enigma ultimate, but other than that, I really don't know if they would have been that big a deal to anybody but the Invoker. Now, it's taken plenty of time to kind of be careful about his Radiant. Actually, the Dire used up quite a bit of reserve time already, but now going down to the minute mark as we're looking for the 4th pickup for the Radiant here, Microstar. Really needs to round out his lanes. He has the Invoker in the middle lane, he has Tidehunter as a support, and Enigma in the jungle, but they're going to pick up the Luna to go as a counter carry, and that's a really interesting pick. I love Luna as a hero in general, her glaives scaling so well, and her Eclipse just being really fun amount of damage that can be put out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it requires vision, so Bounty Hunter invising out really could counteract that unless they have really good detection from Tidehunter, Dust Sentry, that kind of thing, but they're going to go with Juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
That implies a push lineup to me. I mean, Leshrac has a large amount of tower damage with the Edict. You can get the creeps to tank that much longer with the Healing Ward, and then Bounty Hunter can just solo the long lane. So I'm thinking a 3-1-1 with Leshrac, Juggernaut, and another pusher, unless they go for like Nature's Prophet in the jungle, who actually got banned out number 2. So maybe a different pusher like Enchantress or Chen, like I was talking about, and just go for breaking down towers really quickly. They can still give Batrider that quick and easy gold, and then track gold along with that. So gold for towers, gold for kills, and just really reinforces the gold momentum that the Dire team can pick up and get some really powerful items to win the team fights here. But as far as the Radiant, the last one they want to draft up, it's a little odd. I really don't know what they could do to fill in that role that would be what they're looking for. Something on the long line, I presume, but I mean, maybe a Puck like last time was very effective and has not been banned out to the in-house guys here. Really enjoying that here. I'll take a second real quick and just mention, for those who have recently tuned in who do not know who I am or who this guy is, I'm Blaze Casting, an up-and-coming Dota 2 caster, looking for a co-caster and running through a bunch of different guys trying out. And this here is John, aka Crimson, and he's going to be co-casting with me today, and it's actually going to be a Wisp pickup. What the heck is... I don't even know where to go with that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I mean, you could maybe put Enigma on the long lane, or go for some really bizarre 2-1-2 with somebody soloing next to Enigma, but that Wisp doesn't seem to synergize with anything that I can tell. I mean, Luna goes Manta style, so the illusions don't benefit from the overcharge, and though the stun and mobility is powerful, I really don't know if it changes anything from what they already have. I mean, it kind of gives Tidehunter a free Blink Dagger with a little bit of delay, but I don't know. I really don't know if that will change what Dire's trying to draft for. He doesn't have any counter push or anything along those lines. I would prefer like a Keeper of the Light or something compared to a Wisp support. But there's the VS pickup, the swap being amazing against Enigma.
Another interesting thing to mention is that Juggernaut is not usually utilized in the meta as much, but during the International, Navi showed just how strong Juggernaut could be in their game against DK, if I remember correctly. And I think your mic is messed up or mine is. Hold on a sec. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine.
Yeah, because if you look at the Dire team, their success is contingent upon like how well they can get their spells off, and then with the Blade Fury and Escape mechanism, he can just like Q teleport, and how it synergizes with Bounty Hunter's Track and Vengeful Spirit. I wouldn't be surprised if our team's name, Victoria's Secret, can pull off really well.
Indeed. Now, As far as what the lanes are going to be, it looks like Invoker is going to be going for the safe lane, which would leave Wisp on the mid. Now, is it going to be going dual, or are they going to go for the... I don't know, I don't like an aggressive tri lane involving Enigma at all, so I can't imagine that's going to be the case. It's really, they're just kind of going all over the place, and there's not really... It doesn't seem like there's too much logic to it in my mind. I mean, a Luna with a Wraith Band and a Tango compared to just a bunch of branches and maybe a Slippers. It's just like she has a lot of auto attack damage, but she's going to need some really good support action from Tide Hunter. And with Cloud picking up 5 clarity, he's going to be looking for the jungle. So it's going to be 2 people going up on the top lane up against Skeletor 34, and it's pretty much going to be a 2v1, which they will be able to win handily, but it's going to be the question of if they can capitalize on the CS advantage that they can accrue. I don't think they're going to get detection in time to really do too much to them for the first few levels, though.
Yeah, Blaze, I think your mic is messed up. I can't hear you at all.
Okay, and do you know... Okay, so you just can't hear me.
Yes, I've been trying to, like, figure it out during...
Let me check with the stream real quick and see if they can hear me or not. I mean, I'm going through on XSplit at the very least, but let me check stream chat.
Illusion.
That's fine, I fixed it. There's something wrong with my sound card.
Okay, so... You're perfectly
Yeah,
fine
I've
with-
just been blindly I've just been blind co-commentating the entire time.
Awesome. Well, you happened to be stopped talking at the exact same time I was talking, so it kind of worked out. No problem at all. I was just talking about the potential for their tri-lanes and dual lanes and things like that up top. Until they pick up some detection, they're not really going to be able to shut down the Bounty Hunter and his experience gain. But with that, I think the bottom tri-lane will be that much more effective. With Enigma in the jungle, like I said, not that effective until later on. Invoker is kind of left high and dry up against a double stun combo, the magic missile starting off a split earth extremely easily, and from there the spin to win, very devastating, and can bring down Siberia extremely quickly in that process. So I kind of like Victoria's Secret, the Dire team, their drafting in general and their lineup. Actually, how he's built one is tanking the tower right now, diving in. He does have 10 stacks onto Wisp, but is it enough damage? I don't think so. Rank 1 Malphus goes on through. A couple more auto attacks is all they need, but he does pull up on the high ground. What is he thinking, man? I mean, I know that's a lot of napalm charge, but you're not that tanky early on. It's a strength gain that got buffed, not your base. And with that, he just popped a ton of regeneration for really no benefit at all, other than to scare Microstar a little bit. Speaking of which, you really need the magic stick.
Cost in this play. What do you think about this? But I'm kind of surprised that the Invoker, he went Exort first, because he's going against a tri-lane, and there's not really that much last hit potential. He didn't even get like blades of attack, like most Invoker mids do.
Yeah, he probably thought that he was going to be 1v1ing up against the Bounty Hunter and trying to last hit wherever he could, instead of just giving every single creep away from the Bounty Hunter. So he picked his Exort before he even got to the Tier 1 tower there, and he just knew that with the lowered base attack damage that he needed that +9 from the Exort, and unfortunately that's really not going to be doing much for him at all, and maybe just a misbuild, as he probably could benefit a lot from the Wex, Tornado being a very long range initiation to set up the Ravage and the Black Hole specifically.
Yeah, not to trash the Invoker. I'm sure he's a pretty cool guy, but in honesty, that's why, like, when you watch professional streams, they don't usually skill anything until like they walk into their lanes and they see who they're going up against.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, there's no reason to.
Right.
And you can change up your build, see exactly what you want to do up against that lineup there, and just counteract that. But I do like this Wisp middle versus the Microstar. I mean, he definitely needs to pick up a Magic Stick or Magic Wand at the very least, or switch those up, not a big deal. But Bottle coming in for the Batrider. However, I just like Wisp middle in general. His his spirits do so much more damage as you get them up really quickly. So level 5, level 7, he can just do so much damage really, really quickly and go toe-to-toe with this Batrider, I think, a lot better than the Invoker could, in my mind. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have the Cold Snap if he gets dived, but that's really the only disadvantage compared to the amount of harassment he can throw out back at the Batrider. So that can kind of shut down his advantage early on, in my mind. But yeah, in general, I don't know about the Wisp pick. They don't really have a really good combination. They don't have a Dark Seer, Chaos Knight, a Ursa, Tiny. I mean, all these different guys that they can just spend. We saw last game. All these different heroes that you can really benefit from having them right up in their face of the opposition there. They really don't have that benefit. They don't really have any major heroes that they can relocate across. So he's just going to do it for solo ganks mostly. Just kind of gank down from middle lane to really wherever he wants to be and do some solo ganks from there.
Another interesting thing to mention, you might know a lot more about it than I do, but the range of the tether potential is much greater than Batrider for his initiate for Flaying Lasso, isn't it?
Are you counting with a Blink Dagger or without?
Without Blink Dagger.
Just tethering to something to escape, to get away from him or something?
Yeah, because with respect to mobility, just to go on what you said, Wisp would be a lot better mid than Invoker for that purpose specifically, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, especially if you do it well-timed with a creep wave specifically behind you. Actually, looking at Freck and Primarch, they're kind of looking to gank on Enigma. The Eidolons are coming up, they're auto-attacking the creeps. Will Enigma come with them? It doesn't look like it. He's falling back, so unfortunately these two are just wasting time. Might look to transition on Wisp, but for the time being. But yeah, as far as what you're saying there, you can tether a very long range away. It sends you back towards your target. And with that, he can do really good escapes up against the Batrider if he sees them closing in with the Flame Break, with the Lasso, whatever. I mean, the turn radius kind of limits that a little bit because you have to be facing something to tether it, but it's not going to be the biggest deal in the world. He should still be able to get out of a tight spot with it. And even just the plus 20 movement speed will help out in that regard as well. And now a lot of roaming going on. It looks like Freck and Primarch are unhappy about the current landing situation. I would have been fine with it just pushing on the bottom up against the Evoker. They probably could have gotten first blood on him if they pressed him a little bit harder, but right now they are just looking to roam around and kind of surprise attack onto the Luna, shut down his farm, as right now he is on the top, 29 and 10. Really good amount of denies as well as last hits. So going for, it looks like a power treads with the agility first to try to get more and more last hit potential and burning through it. So he has, what, 94 damage, which is considerable starting off early on, but all the damage in the world won't save you from a really well-timed gank. So Primarch level 2, looking to go with Freck and try to bring him down really quickly. Back in the middle lane, though, Microstar taking a lot of damage, and he has all those stacks of the Napalm. One more auto attack, two more auto attacks now that the salve has gone through, but the Batrider is going to have to fall back. Takes a lot of damage. Relocate going on through. Can Wiz turn this around completely? He's going to try, but he has so many Napalm, actually just one Napalm, but he just doesn't have the auto attack damage. He cannot trade with Batrider like this, and he's going to go down. The turn rate on Batrider is amazing, and when you have a 70% reduction on your own with just one stack of Napalm, you really can't just go back and forth and kind of kite away while you're auto-attacking. It doesn't work that way. You have to just pick a direction and run. And with that, he went over-aggressive, and although Batrider did drop very, very low there, and he just had to get a couple auto-attacks in and finish the job, even with that salve going on through.
Absolutely, and it's also underemphasized, but Batrider was one of the top picks in Dota 1 specifically because of turn rate mechanics. Like Dota 2 mechanics, I don't know specifics, but they're a lot more lax than the Dota 1 mechanics, and now with the recent buff.
Double damage, Black Hole, and the Malefice, he really wants to commit to this Batrider and finish him off. Two more auto attacks will be enough. Actually, with the Eidolons, just one. And that's going to be Cloudu taking a solo kill on the Batrider, and since that's a solo mid, he's actually getting a lot of experience. Batrider had 461 experience per minute. Now, Enigma's the second in command as far as that goes, sitting at 433, so a lot of experience gained from that. And yeah, you did commit a big cooldown there, but in 200 seconds, as long as you didn't need it for a 2 or 3 man gank, then you just benefit a lot. And what's he have coming on the courier? It looks like Magic Wand, boots, just kind of basic standard bread and butter to get moving and get the momentum rolling. And honestly, one of the biggest issues I see right now with the supports roaming around is Leshrac and Vengeful Spirit haven't been on lane, haven't been getting a bunch of experience in a long time. They have actually experience per minute. If you look at it, it's 77 for the Leshrac, 57 for the Vengeful Spirit. I actually didn't get the kill. They actually put up a sentry and brought down Bounty Hunter. Wisp is up top as well, trying to pursue Batrider. He's going on through the Flame Break, but he does break down the trees in the process, trying to hide up in the corner. Does a nice little bug, but the Sunstrike will hide him out, and Luna will add in a little bit of damage with the Lucent Beam to finish the job. So that's 2 kills that they shouldn't have given away right there. The sentry was nice action, finally bringing that out. I'm not sure who brought that along with, either Wisp or Tidehunter, but one way or another, they do have a sentry on the ground. We were able to bring him down unexpectedly, and Batrider in the process as well, so 2 deaths in a row for him. Now where he wants to be at, and a little bit of damage from Malefice. Magic Missile goes onto Zyberia. Now Stancil spinning up on Cloudu, but he's just going to take a lot of auto attack damage, and if he isn't careful, he's actually just going to drop down the physical damage, pops the salve, and that will keep him alive for the time being. Instead, Omni Slashes, but goes on the minions, goes on the creeps all over the place, but it's enough burst damage. Oh, no track. The track just came off cooldown from Bounty Hunter. He's not able to bring down the Invoker, who has put an orb in everything, 113 right now. So he has a decent Sunstrike, but mostly just trying to have all 10 spells in his arsenal, and with that, spending every little bit of his mana. Robe of the Magi doing work and getting him that Ghost Walk off to survive.
I'm surprised going for a tri-lane that he went 3 into Exort, because you're going to be harassed so much with that composition. So I'm surprised that he didn't go Quas a lot more so he could sustain regen in lane.
Yeah. Just a lot of damage pressure going in. Rank 2 Edict enough to burn down this tower really hard. A couple more siege creep auto attacks will put in deny range, it already is, and then a few more auto attacks from the heroes themselves. Should get the last hit on it, no problem at all. And that's going to be the end of the tower on tier 1, first tower in the game, and that's going to be a decent gold advantage for the Dire, but they're already down 2 kills. And as far as their lanes, like I said, their 2 supports have been roaming around so hard they haven't been getting any gold whatsoever. Last hits in favor of Luna and the Enigma, mostly lane creeps. Microstar putting in with the relocate up top, putting some damage onto Stancil, puts the tether to get movement speed for Wicket, but right now hasn't done anything with it. Now the stun goes on through and Stancil should drop. Oh, he puffs the healing ward and he will survive. Oh, never mind. Microstar just getting a little bit more damage in and relocating back out right before the, not Flame Break. Yeah, it is Flame Break, okay. Flame Break goes off on him, but he gets out, and he's perfectly fine there. So I didn't actually expect him to live through that with the healing ward, but probably is just rank 1, and it's not going to help him survive that much more. So he just needed a couple more autos, and that did the job. They dived on him, and they definitely capitalized on him, pulling Tidehunter out of that bad spot too, with the tether still active on him.
So definitely that Wisp pick coming into play, because without that 20% move speed buff, Juggernaut would definitely gone away in that situation.
Yeah, and with Prophet Band, I mean, the best global presence is either Tinker or Wisp, and Tinker just takes way too much farm for what they're wanting to build towards right now, so I think it was a really good draft up to pick up the Wisp, even if it's not a direct synergy with things, and maybe won't be the best thing in the late game. Right now, going for the solo mid Wisp, he's put out a lot of pressure, and sitting at a KDA of 111. Can't ask for too much more than that, and it looks like Skeletor's looking to put pressure out onto the top lane. They don't have any detection for the time being, but they can put it out in the right direction. Wow, Flameboy farming up so much, even like the quick initiation, Skeletor trying to burn down damage, Eclipse goes off, burn down his invisibility, and Barrier has no choice but to fall back. So that was really, really unfortunate initiation for him. 2 points to make there is that, well, first of all, he went in by himself without a Batrider jumping in on it. Second of all, the Helmlet Dominator gives him +5 armor, so that Janata auto attack did almost nothing to Flameboy at all. He's back up to full and just got a quick and easy free kill with the cost of his ultimate. Mid lane, he actually did get the Malefice off, the tether going on through, doing a lot of damage, and the Sun going through, Wisp getting another kill. So that's 2-1-1 for the Wisp, and just putting out the pressure without even costing him any real skills other than basic mana, and he has the Arcane Boot, so that actually, Batrider goes with his ultimate on him.
That's a dead Wisp.
Yeah, oh, close, but no cigar. he gets burned down, and nice attempt from between Clouddew and himself, but Flamebreak actually puts him up on the high ground, and he's going to get away from that track. Probably could have helped him close the gap, but didn't work out that way, and he's going to get away for the time being. But that's like their first track kill, as far as I can tell. And you can just see in the gold graph specifically, it's been pretty variable, up and around, oscillating a little bit, but in the end it's resonating around 1,000 gold advantage for the Radiant here. Back on bottom, Stancil, what is he doing? Gets Black Hold up, Sunstrike on him as well, and just a little bit more damage. Ice Wall, why not? And the Cold Snap. Everything they need to bring him down. He already popped his cooldowns, and he's going to drop. But in the meantime, Tier 2 getting picked up on mid, 5-second glyph, popped for the time being, but I think it will still fall. They might be trying to go for the deny, though. The Wisp coming in, and it just has to be the timing. Well, perfect, and they have all the opportunity in the world, but Leshrac actually still gets the last auto attack on it before falling back, so easy enough for him. Primarch out of mana, though, and they can't really engage on this. If Wicket goes in for a big Ravage, he is level 8, really wants to go aggressive, but he needs to stay on top of things until he gets that Blink Dagger. Really can't do too much.
Alright, just sort of like a general point I'd like to mention though, like with how you do early on, there's a very high correlation between like your hero's early game and how successful like that hero is and how often they're picked in competition. And in this case, like people give M5 and some other teams like a lot of flack for ending the game in 15 minutes, but in all honesty, if you ask most professionals, like unless they have like Bombo or something, most of the time games do end really early on, although we don't want to tell our viewers that, but it's kind of the truth.
Wow, nice Omni Slash finishing off the Enigma, and I hear what you're saying. Oh, Track can be finishing off Wicked in just a moment's time. I definitely agree with what you're saying there to some extent. I mean, there's one, oh, actually Skeletor getting stunned up, and he does get out with the Shadow Walk, but he won't be able to finish off the Tidehunter, and that's exactly what he wanted to, you know, fuel his Snowball. And actually, Sunstrike trying to bring him down. What did he kill? He killed the Juggernaut back at his Tier 1 tower.
Sunstrike.
Really nice. But yeah, as far as what you're saying there, I definitely agree with you as far as momentum and how that affects the game so dramatically, that the games can easily be decided in 15 minutes, but it also depends a lot on hero composition. I mean, if you have an endgame hero, you can be completely getting destroyed in the first 20 minutes, but if you're holding on long enough and turtling long enough, we saw a lot in a lot of the Chinese metagame of like a couple years ago specifically, that games would go on, it didn't really matter the first 30 minutes as long as you played very, very intelligently and farmed up and had the right hero composition for the later games. So it really, I think the gank metagame especially fuels what you're talking about, but it's definitely, it's not a 100 or, it's not an all or nothing thing. It's definitely situational based on the team composition. Yeah, Eclipse just all on him, dive in really hard, and they just wanted to make sure that they talked him down. But Wicket actually, and he can pop Ravage here, but it won't save him, I don't believe. The Edict doing too much, and walking past the tower too. So.
Yeah, with the Chinese 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 system, like, it also depends on, like, so many variables, but I mean in general, like, if your 1 and your 2s are doing pretty bad, that's usually pretty significant and signifies a GG.
Yeah, a lot of times you see, like, a Broodmother get a really quick Orchid, and by the 12-minute mark, having an Orchid or something, bringing down to tier 1 tower and getting a couple kills, and snowballing that way. If she can go and 1v1 an anti-mage, pretty much if your carry isn't safe to farm at any stage, you might as well call it GG there, because you have to protect your carry and have to give him farm, because just getting the gold per second that everybody gets is not going to be sufficient to really change anything. So yeah, it's about control, and if you have the control early on, it definitely will favor you in the mid to late stage of the game, but I wouldn't say it's all or nothing. Now, Nether Swap hasn't been popped on Best of Fair that I've seen, so I'm kind of surprised that they haven't gone really aggressive. And there we go, actually, putting an Enigma. He gets coiled up by the lasso. Now here comes a really nice Ravage going on through, trying to put some damage onto Freck, but Wicket is caught up in the flame. Actually, Flame Break saving him for the time being, and with the bottle, he'll stay alive, and the Black Hole gets canceled immediately. It doesn't catch the
Black Hole.
Big PGG Black Holes going on through. But now Microstar a little bit overextended. He cannot survive through all this damage, and trying to finish off the Batrider, who has dropped really low, but same thing that happened at the first kill of the game. He just isn't able, actually that wasn't first kill, but it was very early on. He relocated on him or whatever, and he thought that he could bring him down, but the durability of the Batrider is sufficient to keep him alive. And Wisp just overextending once more, but he's done a lot, contributed a lot for his team. 5, 4, and 1, stay on top of things, and if he can get that mechanism up, he can really keep that Luna kicking for a very, very long time. But that Black Hole did not help their case whatsoever, popping that big cooldown and getting absolutely nothing for it.
Wait, did he even get any enemy creeps? If I remember correctly, like PGG at least got like a creep wave.
Yeah, he was farming creeps with it, so there you go there. Primarch, what is he doing? He might have gone AFK, grabbing a slice of pizza while he just wanted to pressure the top tower there, but walked into a pretty bad spot, and although he was able to, I guess, bait Stancil out of it, TP following the, was it Blade Fury? Yeah, and with that he's immune to teleport out. On the other hand, not so lucky, Invoker on the bottom lane gets Batridered up, and as Batrider does with those stacks of sticky napalm, once you're in, there's no getting out, that's for sure. And once he gets a Force Staff, that problem will be a little bit alleviated, but it's still very, very present as this hero just does more and more and more, even without his ultimate being popped there.
Yeah, if Dire wants to succeed, I think their success, a lot of it is going to be contingent upon really the Bounty Hunter and his track gold, and how well he's doing, because currently the Juggernaut 1 and 4 is not doing as well.
Alright, here we go. Sorry, I was just talking to chat real quick. As far as what you're saying, I definitely agree. The problem is Luna's just farming up so hardcore, and she can scale extremely well with those glaives. Pick up some Manta style, they're just flying everywhere. Does a lot of AoE damage. And look at this stack. He's been stacking up the Wildkins this whole time now. Enigma coming in to help him out in the process, but just drank 2 glaives, bouncing around 2 bounces each. So, I mean, it does reduce each stage, but whatever. It's just he's trying to get as much farm out of it as possible, and his GPM's just going to fly up from here, and he's going to be able to get some really big items out of this for sure.
Absolutely significant. 3-stacked Ancients is about like 800, 900 gold. So considering he has 109 CS, 110, 23, that's such a huge lead. Second is also Sentinel with 73 on the Enigma. It's going to be really, really tough for Dire to come back from this.
Yeah, and it looks like Juggernaut's been trying to strive for his Battle Fury for a very long time, but just has the Claymore and really hasn't been able to get much out of it. It's definitely a more early game item, and if he's bothering to build it in the stages around 24 minutes in the game, it's kind of a waste. You're not going to be able to farm up a lot with it. Actually, Zyberia actually comes out on top of things with the Batrider. Wasn't seeing what was going on there, but trying to go aggressive once more by himself, but it looks like really he couldn't manage it. Zyberia popping off the Forge Spirits, which he has run the Forge Spirit build of 4-1-4, so he has 2 Forge Spirits, has the Cold Snap, so that's a lot of procs on Cold Snap, reduction of armor over time. Batrider not having the best base armor, only 4 right now, and getting 3 out of the Twinkle Boots, which would have been turned into regular boots based on the amount of damage he had coming in. Actually, Eclipse going off on middle lane, Gush going on through, Freck's going to definitely drop down along with the Bounty Hunters. All this across, but the Omni Slash, really good damage, trying to bring down Flameboy. Is he fast enough? The relocate out by Wisp, beautiful relocate, and he can just, Cloud can just, I was about to say he can just Malefist and walk away, but apparently he wants the black hole, so Cloudoo going in hardcore on the Stancil, and Wisp will be coming back with 2 full health allies in just a moment's time, already is in it, and here he goes, jumping in, and stuns up Stancil, so that's going to be a kill. Don't know if black hole was 100% necessary for that process, but one way or another, he has brought him down without there in a really rough spot right here. Magic Missile, I believe Wisp is just going to have to leave Cloudoo behind, abandon him, but he's not going to have that option. The lasso goes on through, and he's being pulled through the Fireflight. Nice flame break, pulling him back for the time being, and with that stun, that's definitely going to seal the fate of the Wisp here. He tried to tether to the Invoker, but it was not going to work for him. And now, actually, they know the Invoker's here. Track goes on through. He can Ghost Walk, but it won't help him. He needs to Force Staff, and he needs to put up an Ice Wall, which he will do so. And that seems to be enough. He's just going to get out of there despite the many individuals pursuing him. And right now, as far as Vengeful Spirit's level, it's getting a little bit better. Has been seen a little bit more of the action and survived. Sitting at level 9. Once he gets to level 11, he'll be a lot more effective in countering Black Hole. Not that the Black Holes have been that amazing. I mean, really, in general, I've seen a lot better. But if Enigma does manage to get a really good 3 or 4 man Black Hole, the Vengeful Spirit rank 2 ultimate will be able to allow him to stand outside of the action, and I'll make sure that you can guarantee swapping him out of that. As Skeletor hunted down on Flameboy a little bit, pinging him up. He does have a lot of movement speed with the Yasha, and of course he has really high base movement speed in the first place, but, you know, no matter how fast you are, if you are locked down by a Batrider, there's really only so much you can do. And now here comes the Batrider. Track is up. That's going to be an easy kill for them, and the track gold will go to all 4 people here. So Bounty Hunter takes the kill for that, and that's a heck of a lot of gold for that. And she even pops the buyback. That is so actually very painful. A little bit. I mean, they want to go aggressive. The Eclipse will be back up in 20 seconds, and they pop the lasso. But I really don't know if they can really capitalize on anything here. And yeah, the amount of gold. If you look at the gold graph, it just took a big leap down. 1,000 gold in favor of Victoria's Secret right there, and that's what they need to stay in the game, is get some really easy try kills on the most fed hero in the game, which is Luna right now, as she works towards her Mantisal, has the ultimate orb at the outpost as soon as she wants to pick it up. Or there we go. Anywho, also, the one thing to mention is that Juggernaut's really not a hard carry by any standards. He's definitely carries pretty well and does a lot of damage in the mid stages of the game, but the Blade Dance, although having a very high proc rate, doesn't do that much incredible damage, and he really relies on his teammates. He's very immobile. As soon as that Omni Slash finishes, he's reliant on his spin just to not be slowed, not be stunned, and with that he has really a hard time engaging on heroes that are too fast to lock down, pretty much. He is a really good pickup against the Tidelander, as his 2 abilities that I mentioned will keep him into the Ravage during that duration, but at the same time, you have to stay on top of them, and his current mobility, even the phase boots, really not helping him in that regard. Wisp wants to go aggressive. He doesn't have that mechanism yet, which will help out his teammates quite a bit as far as the healing process goes, but right now just relying on his earn charges, 4 of them there, and that'll give him plenty for the time being.
Yeah, Wisp is only 1 CS away from getting a mech, so I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, Invoker getting called out of position, but back to what I was saying, I wouldn't be surprised if Wentz went for 1 more CS and they tried to push that tower. But finally catching a good black hole, catches 3 people in the black hole, and
yeah, Primarch's lost that way too late, so that was really nice. Ravage, I mean, the Juggernaut was not in the action there, but the Enigma was able to lock them down during it, and with that they were able to bring them down. No detection though, so it looks like Skeletor may get out in time. They're going to try to Sunstrike him. Oh, Dusk goes on through. They have the Maleficent, and that should be the end of Skeletor 34. So what were we saying?
Yep. I was just going to say that, like, Wisp was 1 CS off from mech. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Wisp just, like, stood there, got that 1 CS, like, got the mech, and then they pushed the tier 2. But now, since PGG actually pulled a pretty good black hole, I wouldn't be surprised if they could even push the tier 3.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will mention is I really don't care exactly for this BKB pickup necessarily. You have the Vengeful Spirit swap that can still go through it. If Batrider gets a blink initiation on the side that you're not black holing, assuming you don't put yourself in the middle of it, he can still lasso on the black hole. So that's 2 abilities that go right on through it. As well as, does Juggernaut's Omni Slash still mini stun in a physical fashion? I believe it does.
Yep.
So yeah, so mini stunning is the first target, and that's physical too. So really, the BKB does very little. It stops the Leshrac stun and the mini stun from Bounty Hunter Shuriken, and that's it. Otherwise, or I guess Flame Break, but still, he's still doesn't have a reliable black hole. That BKB, the entire point of buying the BKB is to make your black hole stay active, and sometimes if you only have one thing that can go on through a Beastmaster or something, you can just make sure you put him in it. But trying to guarantee putting 3 different people into your BKB black hole, it's very unreliable in my mind if Vengeful Spirit is on the ball. He wasn't in that one. He was very delayed in removing that black hole, and that definitely gave the Radiant the advantage in that team fight. But in general, that BKB can only do so much, and I probably would rather see some more supportive items to go further on. But yeah, Luna farming up extremely well, 554. And going to be picking up really whatever she wants. But like I said, it's probably the Manta style, but who knows.
I say I'm 5.7k gold. I'd probably go with the Manta style as well. But another key thing to know is that for a lot of these team fights, when you're getting past the 20-minute
Bad Rider.
Yep.
Wisp coming in though, nice relocate coming in, trying to change things up. Do they have the No, they don't have Ravage, so they're just trying to keep her alive, and she will not. The Magic Wand did not save her, and they do a nice stun coming in through, but there's so much damage from this Firefly. Now Skeletor cleaning it up, gets the track off, and Wisp is the only one that gets out. Will he come back? Was that his ultimate? Yeah, he ports back down, but I believe he'll be coming back in just a moment's time. Nah, he just ported back to safety, no problem. Anyways, but yeah, it did cost them the Invoker in the process here. Bounty Hunter's taking a lot of damage, actually. But they have the track. There's very little they can do to pursue. And now Stansel's in the action. Wants to get that Omni Slash off, but there's a lot of creeps in the process as well, and they're just going to get in the way. So it looks like they're not going to be able to do much to it other than on Microstar, which is really hard to kill. He doesn't have any in overcharge, but even so, the Omni Slash, yeah, with the mech, he's going to survive. And then he's just going to be able to earn up and tether away.
Oh, that was a really nice try by Stancil, though. If you notice, he only ulti when the Forge Spirits died off and their timers went to 0. So, because of that, he could Omni Slash and proc all of his hits on the Wisp. It was a nice try, but was just surviving barely, sub 100 HP.
That mech just being a really, really clutch pickup for him. And it's really the farm of the Juggernaut. If he had a full Battle Fury, that would have been a dead Wisp, but he's just underfarmed right now. And I don't even know if he wants to go for the BF right now. Like I said, 26-minute mark, finishing that off, what's it really going to give you? The Battle Fury gives you like a full 10-15 minute time period where you can just farm, flash farm creep waves, kill stacked ancients and things along those lines. And with that, he's not ready for it, and it's just that window is over. It's when the window is to fight, to push, and he doesn't have that opportunity where he can really capitalize on the benefit of that cleave. So I don't know if it's really the best option. In the meantime, the Bat Rider with the Blink Dagger, on the other hand, is a really, really game-changing aspect. If he can catch somebody out, see somebody from long range, he can jump in. Already has popped his Firefly, looking for purple, but he's pretty long way off. But Zyberia walks right in front of him, and Force Staff will keep him alive. I don't think so. He doesn't biz though, and they don't have any detection. No, they're not going to be able to lock him down. So, if there's anything Zyberia is really, really good at, it's QQ walking like crazy. He's managed to survive about 3 times over with that. And Bounty Hunter probably needs to focus a little bit more on tracking him, not only for the gold, but also to benefit on the kills. But actually, Smoke going to get popped. And are they looking for Roshan? That'd be a little unorthodox, and given the positioning of the enemy team and where they know exactly where they are. And of course, the Bat Rider clear vision. I mean, I'm sure you've seen how much vision that gives. And now he walked right into Microstar.
Bat Rider.
He pops off. He actually gets swapped out to safety. That was really nice swap from Vengeful Spirit. Now the Eclipse going on through, along with the Ravage, a ton of damage. And Flame Boy going to clean things up really hardcore. Microstar even picking up one of those, but Bat Rider, the one that was in the worst spot you've ever seen, is actually the one that is still alive for the time being. Stancil not even in the action, just picking up Battle Fury and farming. So AFK jungle for the next 20 minutes while he tries to pick up where Luna left off as far as his items of gold goes. But they're not going to give him that time period. They're not going to give him that window of opportunity. They're going to go for the Tier 3 here and subsequently the racks. Nice Flame Break to dissipate and disrupt everything going on there, but not going to do enough, and they're going to put pressure out really hard now. Now the low level of the Leshrac kind of gives a little bit of an advantage here. Being level 11, you respawn really quickly and maybe can do something about this. Fortify about to pop up in about 5 seconds, but not going to be enough time. And they're just going to, the job is finished, they're going to get out.
Right, another thing too, that Bat Rider is kind of just, I don't know why he did that.
Yeah, too many stuns. Try to do it. Try to be man mode and try to clean things up, but he didn't have the backup, and he really didn't have anything on the front end of it either. He can land an ulti and then try to walk away. They're not going to let him though. They had good reflexes on Radiant. That cost them for sure. Now they want to bring down. Wow, Omni Slash in like 18 creeps.
Striking into.
Black hole on Vengeful Spirit, Black Hole and Vengeful Spirit! Didn't really do much, but Blink Siberia. That'll do it. So I believe they're going to call GG.
Yeah, that's pretty much GG. Just one last thing though, like a bit of a trite point, but I do agree with exactly what you said about the Battle Fury though, because a lot of the times those are early game items. It's supposed to help you clear waves faster and farm a lot faster. And if it's like, if you get out like the 5-26 minute mark, there really isn't that much utility considering most of these heroes. And the position of the game really means that it's going to end pretty soon. But good game.
Yeah, definitely. Any closing thoughts about it in general?
Well, I know I was like kind of in and out. This was like my first time casting a Dota game, so I can't wait to go back into chat and read all the flames. But really, thanks a lot. It was a lot of fun. I'm used to like StarCraft 2 casting, so like this is a completely new realm for me. But it was definitely a lot of fun. And, yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it, man.
Should try it again. So yeah, thanks for coming in and trying it out and everything along those lines. So that was Crimson, and he'll be coming into the chat in just a little bit. You can give some comments, some feedbacks, positive, negatives, whatever, just to so he can improve.
Mostly
so
negatives.
I can, yeah, whatever. So whatever work there, and yeah, thanks for joining in. I'm Blaze Casting, and this was again Crimson co-casting with me for this game here. So very fun, and we'll go to one more game. Going to be casting with Dr. Zealot for my final game to conclude this casting session for today. But thanks for coming on, John.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dave.